Hey y'all, welcome back. Um, Today we are going to make my MAWMAW'S potato salad. So the ingredients that you need is mayonnaise, kosher dill pickles, black pepper, and salt. And then you need potatoes. I use russet, like the big brown potatoes, and eggs. Your name brands on all of it, there's only two things that really need it, like we prefer a name brand on, which is your pickles. They need to be, or a certain type, they need to be kosher dill pickle. You don't want sweet pickles. Now that's just a preference thing. That's, like I said, that's what we want. And then Hellmann's mayonnaise. So you want this kind of mayonnaise. And then your black pepper, we just use, ground black pepper, and then just regular salt, I guess. So what I already did, and then what I've got going on is, me and Nathan love this. We eat it, like, just to eat it. So it doesn't even have to be meals. But tonight I'm gonna make hot dogs, because we've got some hot dogs and some buns that we need to get rid of. So I'm gonna make this potato salad to go with it as a side. This is one of the 6 potatoes that I'm using. So I went ahead and boiled them. So I just filled them up, stuck them in the pot. I didn't even wash them or anything because I'm gonna completely peel the potatoes. Now, if you like peels in your potato salad, like I said, another preference thing, I would definitely recommend to wash them and then boil it. And how you go from there is, I guess, up to you if you like the peel. But what we always do, what my mama's always done, is peel the potatoes completely off. So she boils them first instead of using like a peeler. She just sticks them all in there, boils them, and then she'll grab her knife. And you see, this is where I stuck the fork in to see if it's done. She'll just grab the peel like that, and it just peels right off. Now, that might be an old-fashioned way, but instead of using a potato peeler, if you don't have one, that's another way to do that. Last time I did this, I just went ahead and peeled it first and then stuck them in. This time I'm doing it her way. So either way, you still get the same end result. But these are, I would say, like medium to large potatoes. But however many you make is up to you, because how many people are you cooking for? How often do you eat leftovers, or do you not? So that's all what you have to keep in mind. Now, the egg portion to the potato portion, so I did 6 potatoes, so I'm just going to boil 6 eggs, which is what I did. Now, the eggs are not done. They are on the stove right now boiling, because I didn't have enough room to put both in there in my pot. So as those are boiling, I'm gonna go ahead and peel the potatoes like I was showing y'all, and then I'm gonna stick the potatoes in the bowl, but I'm not gonna touch it. So one of the main things that I actually used to mess up as a kid, and Mama would take over and she'd be like, no, that's not how you do this. My thing is, if you're used to baking or making mashed potatoes or something along that effect, you may mess up if you don't have this tip. So the thing is, with potato salad, you kind of want some chunks in there. You don't want it to be creamy mashed potatoes. That's not what you're looking for in a potato salad. Typically, that's not how we do it. So do not stick your potatoes, peel them, cut them, and then stick them in there and then mash them. Don't do that. So just leave them in there. You're gonna cut them. I'll show you all as I go along, but we're gonna cut them into smaller portions, and then we're gonna just stick them in this bowl. But once my eggs get done, I'm gonna chop my eggs up. I bought whole pickles, so I've got a jar of, bigger whole pickles. So I'm gonna take however many. We love pickles in ours. That's another preference. So I do is, I basically go by ear. So however many potatoes this will make, as I go along and I cut my egg and my pickles up, that's kind of, I just portion it out by like eyeballing it. So I look at it and I'm like, well, this needs more, or I'll taste it even, and nah, I want more crunch, so I'm gonna add more pickle. Or you know, even with the mayonnaise, when we get to that section too, that's, you know, that's just how we do it, because we don't measure anything. We don't use measuring cups when it comes to stuff like this. So but yeah, the key thing to this is do not over mix, do not mash. This is not mashed potatoes, this is potato salad. So I'm gonna get to peeling, and then I gotta chop up the pickles. Now, the way my mama chops up pickles is impressive. She should be a chef. Like, if this is the pickle in my hand, she just cuts down like this in lines, and then turns it, cuts down like that again, and she'll do it again, and then she just, a sharp knife, takes it by her hand, and then goes that way down it like this, and hits her thumb every time. Never cuts herself or anything. I'm like, wow. One day I'll grow up and be like you, maybe, if I'm lucky. I don't really think you'll want to watch me sit here and peel these. Maybe I'll just speed it up. I don't know. I don't even know if I know how to do that. Alright, how about I turn y'all off? Because this is going to take me a minute. I have 6 potatoes. And then I'll cut you back on once I finish cutting up the pickles and putting the potatoes in the bowl. So, if y'all can't hear, my eggs are back there boiling. The ratio for water to that doesn't really matter as long as it's covering your eggs, and however long you boil. So to check, if you've never boiled or cooked in your life, to check the potatoes, I get a fork and I stick it, and you can see this line right here where I suck it in. If it goes all the way through with no problem, you can feel resistance. You just gotta kind of pay attention to what you're doing. But you can feel resistance. If there's like a little bit of like a hard feeling in it, it needs to cook longer. But you can come back and you can keep checking. Make sure you go through the center of it and all the way through. If it just glides through, you're done. And a lot of times, like this one, it may even bust open. So that's definitely done. And if this one's done and the other ones are not, take this one out because it'll disintegrate as it cooks. But your eggs, the way I've kind of learned, that's a little more tricky. I always want to give you all a time frame, and I really don't know. So my eggs, I'm going to assume like 15 minutes I boil it. But to check those, sometimes those crack and those bust, and when they do that, they're done. But you can always, after like a 15-minute mark, you can always kind of tap it, like take it completely out and tap it. And if it kind of tries to crack like it's not done, stick it back in there. But if it just, you know, cracks it, I don't know if y'all even know what I'm talking about. If you've never cooked an egg, you don't know what I'm saying. But the shell should stay together, it should stay intact and crack like glass. It shouldn't have like one big giant crack like you're baking something, like when you crack an egg or when you go to fry an egg. It shouldn't crack like that. So if it does that, it's not done. But the only thing tricky with an egg is if you bust it, you can't stick it back in there to boil it. So but I'm sure you can Google and look up how long to boil an egg and just go by that too. That's also another way to do it. I've just done it so much, I just don't pay, I just know, like it's kind of hard to explain things sometimes when you have never stopped and really thought about how you got there or how exactly to do it. For me, it's timing and portions. Like to tell y'all, I want y'all to be able to cook what I'm cooking, but a lot of times I eyeball things. I don't measure and I don't keep track. I just pay attention. I just sit around and watch whatever it is I'm cooking. Unless I'm using a cookbook. So, but anyways, I will cut this off and then I'll turn y'all back on once I get all of this peeled, cut, and then stuck in the bowl. And then by that time, the eggs probably should be done. So I'll see y'all back in a second. Okay, so I'm back and I have the eggs peeled and chopped up, and the potatoes. So what I did with the potatoes, I took them, if this is long ways, I cut them like this, and then I cut them down the middle, and then I stuck them in here. So really they were like in little cubes. And I just layered the top of it with pepper, which I probably shouldn't have done off camera, but I just basically put pepper, I sprinkled it where it covered the whole top. I mean, not to where you can't see through, if y'all can really see that, but I just sprinkled it real good on top. So now I'm gonna add salt, and I'm gonna do the same thing with the salt. I'm just gonna sprinkle it really good on top. You can always add more later, but you can never take it back. So with all of this, I'm gonna go ahead and put my mayonnaise in. Oh, and I chopped the pickles up and stuck them in here too. I used 3 pickles, and this is about the size they were. Y'all can tell. So now I'm gonna just add mayonnaise. So if y'all can see me, this is a fork I'm using. So y'all can just say, that's 2 heaps, 3 heaps. Probably should have used a spoon. Mayonnaise is what's gonna bring the entire dish together. And that's why you, depending on your taste buds, why you should use a specific brand. Cause like some mayonnaise is creamy and some is whipped, and I don't know. This one's the best for like baking and stuff. Baking, not bacon. Okay. If I have to add more, I will, but that's how much I've got. So what is that, like a half a cup of mayonnaise, roughly? That's my guesstimate. So with my fork, I'm gonna try to combine it all together. But I'm also gonna kind of mash at the same time, but with my fork. And like I said, if y'all remember, y'all can't overmix it. Well, y'all can, so don't overmix it is what I mean. I may have to add a little bit more mayonnaise. And I'm definitely going to cut up some more pickles and stick in here. And that's what I meant by portions. I don't know, because it depends on how many potatoes you do. So, and it depends on how many people you're feeding. To really determine if you need how much mayonnaise or how many pickles, and even to your preference, how many eggs. If you're allergic to eggs, you can leave the eggs out completely, obviously. I don't know if it would really truly affect the taste. To me it would, but you might not have any choice, so. A lot of mixing and stirring. So I hope y'all's arm muscles are strong, because so what my mama does is not only with a fork, but she'll get, like for me, I'm gonna have to do it from, she'll get her knife. Y'all can't even see what I'm doing. There we go. So she'll get her knife and she'll just, because for me the potatoes were too, they're not really mashing or anything, and they're too big. So I'm just gonna grab my knife and swipe through and really try to, because I don't like big chunks, so that's also a preference. Do you like thick, chunky, like bigger than your mouth, or do you want bite-sized chunks? Me personally, bite-sized chunks is what I like. It's how I've always had it, so I'm just gonna take my knife and keep going through and try to cut up all those big pieces. So if you want to avoid what I'm doing right now, when you cut your potato up, cut it in pieces about this big, roughly, like the size of like a quarter, maybe even a little bit smaller. See, I just tasted that. I'm definitely gonna have to add more salt. It doesn't even taste like there's any salt in there. I think that's pretty well chopped. You can see it's pretty good. So I'm gonna rinse my hands off. Sorry, I'm sure that was really loud. I'm gonna grab more pepper and add 2. And definitely more salt. It doesn't even taste like there's any in here. So with the salt, I layered pretty good. Back 1 swipe, 2 swipes, so back and forth. And with my pepper, y'all saw, I just kind of swiped it along once, kind of covering. So this is the part, so now that my potatoes are kind of getting creamier, this is where you have to be very careful, and if you're gonna mix intentionally. So I'm gonna stop here. I've gotta cut up more pickles. But if I keep stirring at this point, this is where you can mess up, and instead of potato salad, you'll have mashed potatoes. So I also need to add a little bit more mayonnaise to it as well. I'm gonna go ahead and grab my pickle, and I'm gonna try my best to chop this up. This is how my mama does it, but she does it better than me. I have a feeling just because I'm trying to show you all this, I'm gonna cut myself. Probably, that sounds about right. Now I didn't realize these are a little bit smaller pickles because they're off-brand, but if you get the real kosher dill pickles, they're bigger than this. It's like the ones that you get at like a baseball stand or football game or whatever. And those are the pickles that my mama uses, and to me they're better. Okay, the camera cut me off. I don't know what I was saying, but this is it. This is all done. This is what your potato salad should basically look like. So I hope y'all enjoyed this, and I hope y'all found this super useful. This is MAWMAW'S potato salad.